Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Deadhaus Whispers.
Greetings.
Yes, and today, like always, I am Calypso, Faceless Mike as usual, and today we are also joined by Golden Zan once again. And for those of us joining us for the first time, we are talking about Deadhaus Sonata and everything to do with it. Deadhaus Sonata is a spiritual successor to Legacy of Kain. It is a narrative-driven action RPG in which you play the undead fighting the living, an unstoppable force from Deadhaus. Deadhaus Sonata is development is leading on PC and will support all major platforms.
You say that because we've been asked questions about what defines major platforms and not Stadia.
Yeah, right now the Google Stadia thing is up in the air or not at all. Unsure, but it will be on. PC, PlayStation.
I like the fact that I've seen companies starting to pull out, like that Bomberman one that was meant to be exclusive to Stadia just released on Switch. So,
did they? Poor Bomberman. Yes, but welcome everyone. And today, what's our topic today, Mike?
It is Death is a Card Dealer. Because we found out finally, or rather we could talk about it publicly, right, Sam? About what the skill system was for Deadhaus Sonata. And it's cards. But it's not a card game. So, Calypso, do you want to try give an overview of the Deadhaus Sonata skills and abilities?
I will attempt it. Hello, Wyvern. Hello, Ian. Hey, Ian. Hey, Safi. Hey, everybody. Welcome. So yes, the Deadhaus skill system or tarot system, I guess I'm gonna call it, it's super unique. It's kind of like, rather than your basic RPG skill trees, it's a pack of cards. It looks like a tarot deck. And you have your abilities, and within those abilities are your skill trees. So rather than you being a vampire and then having a skill tree that has your that you pick your abilities from, like werewolf form or bat form or mist form or like flay or other like slashing abilities and stuff like that, it's you pick those, and then rather than customizing, having that just be your base, it's you can customize and stat those out instead, if that makes sense. So it's like a skill tree within a skill tree, essentially, sort of.
Do you know something? We'll make it a little easier. We'll throw up a picture.
Yeah, let's do that.
Throw up a little picture. So essentially what it is a normal RPG we'll use World of Warcraft for an example, because it's nice and basic and easy to explain. In World of Warcraft, you play, let's say, a warrior. And the warrior has the option of 3 skill trees, depending on what way you want to spec. There's kind of like a DPS one, a tanky type of one, and so on. So as you level up, you get skill points, you put them into the tree, you get more skills and abilities. In Deadhaus, that's going out the window. No skill tree for you. Well, not for your class anyway. There's going to be tarot decks. And what happens is each card will be an ability. So one that was given as an example yesterday is the Dance Macabre. Or like there's many others, like to be Drain Blood. There's Exsanguinate being one of them. Again, all placeholder type stuff. But that would be an ability you would have. So the Dance Macabre would be like a slashing combo type ability. That card, when flipped over, will have its skill tree on the back. So for every skill in the game, there will be a skill tree rather than for every class. And
I think we need to find a different name for the skill tree within the skills. I've called them temporarily the talent skills, talent tree.
Yeah, talent tree would work better.
Talent tree works.
Yeah. Each skill has its own talent tree rather than the character having a talent tree.
Yeah. Which it's really different. I've never seen anything like it. At least I don't think I've seen anything like it. It's something that is just it's one of those, I think, at least I'm having trouble really fully grasping it until we see it in full action and everything like that. It's going to be one of those things that I think people are going to be questioning for a while until you see it. You got to see it to believe it, right? And to like really understand it. But I do think a tarot deck system is freaking rad. And Ian even said it.
Yeah, Ian says one of the most coolest parts of the DHS. Totally. They like it's meant to be so you've got a list of abilities or a deck of abilities, shall we say, and you will collect these from various points, drops, boss battles, new areas, things like that. And then what you do is you have a hand, and as you fill out a hand. So one of the examples shown yesterday was the vampire, and he had 7 cards. So that's 7 abilities the vampire can use. So that's your hand, and you can swap them in and out on the fly. And then your deck will grow as you get through the game. And as you have these abilities leveling up, each one of them will get their own skill points that you'll be able to modify them like a normal talent tree, which I think is great. And the idea that each class will have its own deck, they'll all be separate.
Yeah, I think that'll be really cool too. That'll be really cool. And then it's a Wyvern Tamer. I am also looking forward to the physical tarot deck from the Founders Packs. Yes, that is something I am also looking forward to. If you guys don't know, you can go on to deadhaus.com/store, I think, and pick up a Founders Pack. And one of the Founders Packs includes a physical tarot deck that will be specifically special for that Founders Pack only, won't be anywhere else, that kind of stuff. It'll be really cool. And I wonder if that tarot deck within that Founders Pack is going to be in game also. Like, will that be
I think the tarot
for the people who own the tarot decks?
I think the tarot deck is going to be from the game, not that tarot deck is going to be in the game. They're going to be making one from it.
Yeah, I think the one from the Founders Pack will be different. Dennis specifically mentioned it being as the old world tarot deck.
Which will make a lot more sense a bit further down the line. And I just have to laugh, Calypso. You sound like me. Go buy a Founders Pack today.
Go buy a Founders Pack. There's plenty of links down below. Yeah, like it's super cool. I think something you said earlier, Mike, or like a cool example for it would be like for Mist Form, like you have the ability of your Mist Form, right? And within that Mist Form is the skills for Mist, and like when you pass through someone, you might get the ability to set them on fire when you pass through them, as
or freeze them, or poison,
or freeze them, or poison them, something like that. You can activate Mist for longer. It can drain your mana pool less, everything like that. And I was also kind of right. I'm so glad we got to see this now, because I was also kind of right in my theorizing that it'll play sort of similar to Blood Omen 1, where you have all these skills and abilities, you have access to them in real time completely, and you can swap them on the fly, and it'll be like, it's like an updated version of how the combat works in Blood Omen 1 and how the skills and everything work.
I love that in Blood Omen 1, where you just walked along and it's kind of like, I get to choose how you die. It's like flay, or all these different, it's like you're kind of running along, like it's not when they die, it's I'm deciding how, like some kind of weird, demented, dark god.
I was thinking about the tarot deck, and the way that I envision it is as an amplification of existing powers. So Dennis mentioned in the after party yesterday, right after the stream, that each class has innate abilities. Like the vampire can always suck blood, and each of them will have their own unique things. And the cards, they create variants of those innate abilities. So exsanguinate, from the name, we can imagine that it will be an improvement of the blood suck ability that allows you to, I don't know, get blood from lots of units, like we've seen in the earlier videos. And that's very cool about them. I really like this.
That leads up the question, though, when you're dealing with like your own card loadout. One, it throws the idea of metagaming in the bin, because there's far too many variables. But secondly, how many cards do you want active abilities versus passive abilities? Because you will use a card slot for a more passive ability, because let's say, like San just mentioned, exsanguinate, that's going to be a play on your blood drain ability. What if that is taking away an ability slot, but the benefits to it once it's leveled up could completely outweigh just another active ability, So that's where
I think it comes in with how you play. It's a playstyle thing. And maybe this even plays into the online aspect, and playing with a friend or playing with a team and everything, or building a team. It's like, do you spec your hand out with a bunch of passive abilities that buff and debuff your team or you, while they do all the slaughtering, or you help out or something, or do you build it with more active abilities? Like, it's all, I think, a matter of play style, and that's where the kind of limitless possibilities of building out your character are limitless, essentially. Like, there's no having a whirlwind barbarian build or a frost sorceress build like you can in Diablo.
You just gave me an idea. I wonder, will you be able to save hands? So if you build out a hand, or a hand that you use for solo play, could you like have that saved and then have another hand specifically for like co-op where you're the tank or the healer, or some kind of role like that, and have like 3 or 4 hands saved? So instead of switching cards out at the fly, you could just press something in the inventory and just swap your entire hand.
Entire build. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, I can't imagine why they wouldn't include that. That's awesome. That'd be awesome, because you could especially if you want to switch it up like mid battle or something. You are a more active player, and then you go into a passive role, and then you just click and then you change out your hand. Or I wouldn't mind a really cool card shuffle animation either, using 78 card decks.
Using 78 card deck, a standard tarot deck.
There are, according to Google, for a 3-card hand, 456,456 different combinations. Jesus Christ.
That's for
I have to keep in mind that this is just for the cards. We don't know if the tarot decks are going to have 78 cards themselves. They may have more, since cards are going to be added.
I think the idea... Yeah, the idea is, and I think, is to have 78 for like the third age when it's public. Each deck will have 78 cards. Then it's almost guaranteed that's going to go up.
Right.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
On top of that,
ages,
there's also the talents, which increase the variation even further. So it gets a crazy amount. It's impossible to establish a meta out of that.
Your exsanguinate and my exsanguinate could be the complete opposite of each other.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool. That's the really cool thing. Like, it's limitless. It's endless almost there. And plus, like, player variety and everything will determine how like my mist form is opposed to Zan, or how my werebat form is opposed to, you, Mike. Like, that's
and
cool.
And you're just comparing it with the one class.
Yeah. Because I think about all the other ones. Yeah, exactly. Like, how can your Lich play compared to my Lich?
Then it really does come down to the player. It's got absolutely nothing to do with skills. That it comes down to the player.
Wow. What?
And Wyvern Tamer mentioned something interesting here. This combination was just for classes that have 3 card slots available. Every class is going to have different amounts of slots available to assign cards. So the vampire, in the example that was given to us, has 7 slots. He can assign 7 tarot cards. Right. Mm-hmm. The Lich is the class that has the most slots as a magician. Yeah. We're not sure how the tarot deck interacts with the spell system. Dennis hinted them at being different. But in any case, some classes also have less slots, like the Revenant, and that'll be...
And if you look at the cards as well on the screen there, while like the art and the name are placeholders, you'll notice there's cards with red, there's cards with blue, there's cards with green.
Mm-hmm. I just noticed that.
You know what that means, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, each color of the card represents its trinary archetype system. Yeah, so you have a lot of magic for the vampire here in this particular example. And then you got 1 for essential right there, or 2, I think, and then you got some physical for red, and like I know the art's placeholder, but it's still really nice, pretty sweet art that indicates what it is
and something for the lore nerds, and one I know that'll finally drive Varric. Either it'll settle his mind or drive me even more demented. Zan, I pointed out to them last night in the after party. Look at the back of the card where it says exit.
Exit.
Yeah,
What was that?
on the very left of our screen there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
We've
okay.
got
You
that.
mean
The pyramid on the pyramid. They were trying to work out about the octahedron and such.
Oh, I see what you mean. Mm-hmm.
That should give away more than it realizes.
Yeah. So it turns out. See, I believe I can't remember. Did we theorize that? Did we theorize that on one of these episodes, Mike? I can't remember.
We've loosely talked about it, but we're going to get
Loosely talked
Varric
about
and
it.
Zan in one of the days and just go hell for leather into the deep lore, not the basic lore of like Malorum and Deadhaus and its machinations in it, but the greater lore of the gods and how the universe is made up and whatnot. Which Varric, again, coin toss on whether he's either gone completely mad or he's completely figured out what Dennis and Jack are up to.
Yeah. I think it's the tarot thing is super, like, all I'm thinking of now is like animations and how they could somehow be really cheeky and implement card stuff, like physical actual card stuff in game, like as maybe for the first time that you switch your deck in real time, like you see the vampire like pull out another card deck and like it disappears like in a magical way, and that's how like to indicate how you switched your skills rather than just doing it. I'm just thinking of all that kind of nerdy stuff because like I like that kind of stuff, but it's just it's unique. It's really unique, and I really can't think of anything else that kind of does it this way specifically.
That's what I was saying before. Like when people were asking me, I was like, the game doesn't play the way you think it does. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to build this type of character and I'm going to run this skill tree. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. But we couldn't say anything. And I've messaged San privately going, they're saying this, that, and the other, and they're all wrong. They're all so wrong. But now we can talk about it. And it's like, yeah, this is like nothing I've seen in a game before. I've seen games use similar concepts whereby they'd either have multiple talent trees or maybe their abilities are like tied to cards and stuff like that. But I've never seen this. Nothing close to this.
Yeah, never. And
working with Apocalypse has its advantages and restrictions. One of the restrictions is that we can't talk about stuff that we get to see.
Literally, hands bound, mouth tied. You can't talk about the dang thing.
Yeah, you guys are. It's a bit of a double-edged sword for you guys, like having that info. It makes me wonder. Like, Deadhaus Sonata isn't a card game, but would you guys like to see a card game version of Deadhaus, like as a one-off? As a one-off
thing, it would be a really cool thing to have. But I played Magic for years, and I cursed the damn thing. And no, but I know card games massive. Like loads of people are all into their different varying types. So
yeah, Deadhaus Gwent when.
I don't have any particular desire to play a card game based on Deadhaus, but at the same time, if it is really good, if it is smart, if it is balanced, if it's just fun, then it doesn't really matter. Everything that is fun is worth playing,
Yeah.
But now Zan and myself have talked before. Now a tabletop RPG.
Oh, I'm totally down for a tabletop RPG. Yeah,
yeah, I would like that too.
That's a different story.
See, now that we have more on this card system, a tabletop RPG with this card system would be an awesome friggin' system. There's one.
Yeah, Calypso.
I can't remember the system.
The box will come in like 3 crates to make sure you have all the make sure you have all the cards. It'll take a week to sort out the decks and deal with it.
Oh Lord, it would hurt, but it'd be worth it. It'd be so worth it. Like imagine, man, there's a tabletop system that uses cards as a system. It uses like cards and coins. It's just making me think of how a Deadhaus tabletop could be and how these cards are being implemented. And like because we have these cards for abilities, how would you use them to, like, how would you level up, like, well, because we don't know what any of the other passive or active skills are within these abilities. how would you guys? What would your build be? Like, what would your hand look like? Like if we used, this example here for the vampire, and theorizing of what the abilities are, like exsanguinate and stuff like that. What would you guys?
Well,
How would you
once I'm
build your hand?
finished playing with all the abilities, because like a child, I'd have to play with everyone, like the werebat and all, to, play with the new toys, so to speak. Once I'd that done, everything would be just brute forcing it. So Dance Macabre, Exsanguinate, anything that kind of is a hammer rush forward with more tanky. Like, I don't care about having to do the highest amount of damage. I just want to do fast damage and tank.
Okay.
That's kind of my play style for most things, to brute force anything when you're going for RPG style. Even in Warframe, I use ones like using Rhino and Frost and shield myself up and just wail into everything. I don't care about getting the highest damage numbers, but I always kind of unintentionally fall into that tanky DPS role.
Yeah. What about you,
In
Zan?
my case, ever since I found out that you could specialize your characters in ways that were different than their main attribute. So you could get a Revenant that is specializing in the physical and just focus him entirely on magic and essence. I decided that I wanted to make characters that actually focused on the opposites of what they are. So if I were to take a Revenant, I will make him essential. If I were to take a Ghoul, I will make him magical. So I will try to do something akin to that. Now, for the vampire, that's tougher because the vampire sits right in the middle of the trinary archetype. Hey, Shiny. So I'm not really sure. I think I will use a little bit of everything for him specifically.
Just out of curiosity, Zan, are you still rolling Lich?
Yeah, mainly I'm going to start playing with the Lich once the first stage comes in.
That's something I'm interested in seeing, especially with the Lich, and how we know that at least Dennis dropped. I think that the Lich has the most cards in his hand for his deck, right?
Yeah.
Where the vampire right now in this early version has 7. So the Lich has, like, I wonder how much the Lich has, like 13, 10, what? And are they all going to be, a giant mix of passive and active? Are they all going to be crazy spells? And that's where the, customization thing comes in. Like, can you build a just pure wreaking havoc magic, murder everything in like one hit, super buff ability Lich, for that like hand? It's insane.
That's what I'm really curious as to how it goes, because if you're going to play this game well and you're going to team up with people, you're going to have to also know what their abilities are. So you're going to need to know your multiplayers the same as yourself almost, and decking yourselves out accordingly. Because if you've got a team of 6 and you were all at the appropriate level, skill level. Now, I don't mean level in the game, skill level of playing. If you're fairly good and everyone else is fairly good and on the ball and you can coordinate, you will wreck this game, I'd imagine. Like, just judging by how like things go in Diablo and Warframe, you will blast through things.
Oh, definitely. A pure passive Lich that doesn't do anything until an enemy dies, and then all sort of effects trigger. That would be cool.
Possibly. Oh, Scara, he wasn't. That's what I got a giggle out of. He says, I think Cyan might have been dead on with the spell system combi. No, I've been watching the Discord for about what? How long has it been, Sam? About a month and a bit now? Everyone's discussed it. It's like, no. Because like Zan and me found out, I think it was the same time. I can't remember who found out first though. But we found out like at the same day, and we just was like, we need to talk because I really need to talk about this. And we can't talk to anyone else,
And you guys mentioned passives, and it may be possible that some of the cards are going to be passive abilities. Sure. But I'm thinking that since they are assigned to buttons, every skill is going to be some kind of active, and then the talents themselves within are going to be passive abilities that just modify it further.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about it, it's going to work in a very strange way, because right there we've got like Werebat.
Yeah.
When you hit that button, that's a new toolbar. So you transform, but your beast form now has new abilities.
That's a very good
Yeah.
point.
So how does
Yeah.
that even go? Are they just standard ones? When you level up your werebat one, will you gain new ones? How will that work again? Let's say you're a vampire that almost never stays in vampire form. You jump from mist to bat to wolf to Draco Lich or whatever else they come up with. Like, it'll be nuts.
Yeah, and even further, do the cards themselves change the way they work if you change state? If you go into the magical state, if you go into ethereal state, do the cards themselves stay the same?
Oh,
That's a good
that's it.
question.
I just realized I'm going to be very disappointed if your card doesn't get like gilded once it's been maxed out.
Oh yeah,
So
like a cool effect or something
yeah,
around
just
it.
have like a border on it or something to be like it's
Yeah.
gilded because this is maxed. You have
Yeah.
now maxed this card, so you don't need to worry about like leveling that one. Just so that at a quick glance you can tell max level cards or full cards, because I don't think it'll be possible to completely max out a talent tree on a card. I think you'll have to make choices like in one direction or another. But once the card is maxed out to how many points can be put into it, it should get like a little border or something, just so that when you're flicking through your deck, you can just quickly tell at a glance, you know?
Yeah.
Perhaps
cool.
it can have different grades as you keep leveling it up. It goes up by levels and changes its borderline, its outline.
And there you go. As a custom cosmetic option, you can choose to have different borders around it or anything like that for when it's max level. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind having like the color change either. Like, let's say it's a it's a physical card. It's in your physical. It's like a physical state card, but when it's maxed out, like the border or like there's a weird shimmer to it of it being maxed out. Like purple right now on the Discord for people who have the Malleus Odium Founders Pack, which you can get on deadhausonata.com/store. I think that URL is right. The color is purple, so I wouldn't mind seeing purple play into the customization process of like cards and like it being max. It being like a kingly level card because purple is the color of kings. Stuff like that. It also makes me wonder, going back to like, let's say you switch werebat form. I think Skara or someone was trying to ask last night on the after party, like if you have Dance Macabre and that's a physical ability where you can like dash and combo and stuff like that, right? When you're in werebat or werewolf form, can you still use that ability?
No.
It's gone, right? Because you're not in your regular.
Yeah. So like
form.
if you change to werebat form, a new little toolbar will appear.
Yeah.
With your new abilities that will only be usable in werebat form.
Yeah, so you can entirely.
It was Wyvern
skills
Tamer,
on top
apparently.
of skills. Oh, it was Wyvern Tamer. So you get skills on top of skills on top of skills, or talents on top of talents, like that. Just and then see, and and then you're right about that question, Mike. Like, what if can you customize your werebat skills further than they are already? Like, does your werebat get its own little hand of cards to customize when you're in that form?
As you were given an example there, I'm just going to quickly pull this up because you wanted to give a comparison to like other
let's
systems.
do it. So it's like another system of it's like Diablo 2. So with Diablo 2, you have for a druid character at least you have your beast form, and then when you're using your beast form, you can change into like a beast faster. You have stronger attacks, you can leap, stuff like that, or you can do pure elemental magic and transformations. So you have your skill here, and then you have your tree for your druid here. Will there be branching trees for these trees within trees for like your skills? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that'd be really interesting to see if you are in like your beast form or your bat form for your vampire. You have your like customized skill tree within there, and then you pick like for your bat form. Let's say you pick flight, right? Once you pick flight, it goes into another branch of dive bomb attacks or picking people up or like slamming down on the ground and stuff like that for your werebat. Like will the tree keep expanding out into the infinite.
Oh no, it'll all stay within the little graph on the card thing.
Yeah.
But like the other example being as well, like in here, just the example of like from Diablo, like this is your druid skills. You've got 3 trees to work from. You've got elemental, shape shifting, and summoning. That's all gone for Deadhaus. It's going to be a case of you now have 78 skill trees or talent trees, and I think that idea is just wild. Like the concept blows my mind, not in the fact of, oh my god, like that this is an ingenious thing. It is, but like I can comprehend about that. But the idea of, now how am I going to approach this? There's so many options. And I think the idea of Apocalypse was, as Dennis described it, I love the discovery stage of a game. I hate metagaming. Like when you get to max level 50 or whatever, and like I've done all the things, I have all the talents, there's nothing left to do. In this, like he says, the only option you have, oh, well, I better look up on the internet, see what the min-max build is for metagaming, otherwise I can't do the raids and stuff. This just throws all that in the bin. Like how... someone's going to do it. I know someone's going to do it. Just because we mentioned it, someone's going to do it. They're going to do a video of which is the best, but to actively research that's going to be insane.
Yeah, because I don't think there is an active best. Like so far, there's not you can't, like, I don't think you'll be able to have a specific build for said thing with how this works. There's not going to be, I don't think, like a blood magic vampire or a blood magic like Lich build or something. There's not going to be a beast form only vampire build. Like I think it's too expansive for that. Personally,
I just every time I keep looking, I keep coming up with new ones because it's like Enthrall, right? So you get an idea of what that skill is. Something. Where does that expand out? Is it the only thing I can think of is time duration and more people, but I know there's got to be more than that to it.
Yeah. So definitely. There's going to be lots of people who are going to try and find metas to use, and but it's going to be very difficult to follow them, because since the cards are found not only through loot but also through exploration, completing quests and challenges and secrets, everyone's going to have a different deck, and they're not going to be able to copy each other all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So everyone's going to have to find out each of their own ways of doing things. And that's cool. And that's better than most systems, really. Everyone's going to be different to some extent. And the cards themselves, it's not like they're all different ways of doing the same things. So you can pretty much choose what you prefer, what is your preferred style, and just go with it. The best is very subjective here.
Yeah, and that's what makes it really tricky. That's what makes it really tricky to almost like talk about and strategize with it, because it's so different and it's so unique. Like my brain is exploding. My brain is exploding right now.
I'm calling it now. I'm waiting for the YouTube video of the single card boss run.
Oh, I'm gonna make it, right? Now that you said it, I gotta make it. I gotta do
cardless boss run.
Cardless boss run. Oh man, no abilities boss run. Do it.
So we got the screen over here with all the cards showing up. There's 15 cards that we have available here. Yeah. Let's go over them. Yeah. From the top left to the bottom right, we have Bat Form.
Yeah.
Blur.
Yep.
Blood Moon Bat Form. So that's a variant of the regular Bat Form. Yep. Children of the Night. Dance Macabre. Demon, which I think is just a placeholder. I don't really see how this.
I think totally. I think the names are just placeholder. I know the art is because when this was being done up, they had to change out. So if you see like some of the newer art there, like for example, Zorin and the dragon and stuff like that, there was real art there, and it had to be replaced out just so there's no spoilers, because it's meant to be showing off the system. Yeah.
So we're gonna get the reveal of those cards at the end of this month, right? Faceless.
Yes. There will be some, but not all of them. You're going to be coming on for a little bit of that as well, I think.
That's good.
I just thought about something.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just thought about something. What if, rather than art, I know that this would be really neat if each card, when you're like hovering over it, or you have it selected or something, has an animation of what the ability is and like what it
Possibly.
does.
Or like in Warframe, you hover over it and a little window appears and it shows you
Yeah,
what the
something like
ability.
that. Something like
Well,
that. That'd be
Dennis
cool.
also did mention to be kind of lore blurbs per card, right?
Yeah. Each card has its own story to it.
That's what I'm dying for.
And not just the card. Could it be that the talents themselves, the skills inside the cards, have their own lore blurbs? That would be just crazy.
That would be a lot of lore. That'd be
So
like
much
lore
work for
blurbs
Jack.
within lore blurbs.
We interrupted that as well. Continue. So
Yes, we did.
Demon,
Sorry,
then
Zach.
next one.
I was going to keep citing the names of the cards. So Demon was the last one we said.
Yeah.
And there's Dragon Skin, Enthrall, Exsanguinate, Masquerade, Mistform, Path of the Blade, and then the last three we can't see on this image here. So we don't know them.
Hold on. Can I fix that?
Oh no, they're cut off on the stream. They weren't showing up.
Oh, they weren't showing.
Yeah.
So just wondering, crap, is that my imaging or no?
Uh-huh.
Hats off to Wyvern Timber, by the way, for that screen grab. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Dragon Skin sounds awesome. Dragon Skin sounds like an awesome
self-explanatory.
Yeah. But just, oh man, imagine that. Imagine you throw on Dragon Skin and it's like, a body shield, but it actually kind of transforms you and makes you look like a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
How rad would that be?
Again, leveling it up.
Yeah. And then you level up, and then maybe Dragon Skin turns into dragon form. Because
there is precursors to this. If you take a look at Elder Scrolls Online, when you do that, your body does get covered with stuff. When you do Warframe abilities, ones that like give you layers of armor, they actually physically coat you in things and all like that. So I don't see why not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be neat.
And we're talking about the colors of the cards here, and there are some interesting considerations to be made here. We know that transformations in general are associated to the essential realm because that's the description of essence. So I always figured that bad forms transformations will be associated to essence, but instead here, at least, they are marked as magical. I'm not sure if this is because the color is associated to the cost, like costing mana instead of magic.
That's what I would have assumed. I could be wrong, but that's what I assumed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I remember in Blood Omen 1, when you're in your wolf form or your mist form, it drains from your mana pool. So maybe it's even though transformations and stuff like that are tied to the essential realm, possibly it just might be a different form of magic, or a different form of, maybe it'll even leech a little bit from both. Like its main draw is from mana, but it costs like a fraction of essential.
Can you then self-delete by using abilities?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you need to constantly be aware of that?
That'd be a lot to take in for gameplay.
I never thought about that. Because like everything costs, so
might be just that if you're very close to, if you don't have enough of whatever pool is necessary to activate an ability, it might just not let you do it.
No, but that starts playing into the whole, like, you've got to be very careful as a vampire, because if you start using a lot of physical abilities, but you take a lot of physical damage, you need to be draining blood ritualistically.
I mean, that is what they do. That'd be like, it's almost like adding a weird survival mechanic during combat, during gameplay,
and I like
with
that.
your abilities. I kind of dig it. Like,
I like the idea. I'm going to, pardon the pun, suck at it.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. I'm gonna ignore my health bar the entire time. Like imagine you have no more mana. Your mana pool is drained completely, right? But you still want to turn into bat form. So in order to do that, you need to sacrifice some essential from your essential pool to turn into bat form.
Here's the question, guys. If you're a vampire, how do you refill your essential and magical pools?
I don't want to keep throwing it back to Blood Omen, but there are ghosts. There are ghosts that you can drain
That's
and
what I'm. But that's what
refill your
I'm
magic
wondering.
tank.
Like, surely there's something.
Yeah,
Like
there's gotta be.
everything will need ways to drain all three.
Yeah, maybe
You know.
maybe to recharge your mana, you have to do some blood magic and sacrifice some like physical health to get better at magic, or to you know what I mean, to refill your mana bar. You have to sacrifice some health from some physical for your
Well,
magical.
what happens if you already lost all your health and you were forced into the ethereal state?
That's true.
There.
Duh.
Yeah. How do we come back from being banished from certain states?
Hmm.
Like you can. We
Yeah,
just don't know how.
yet.
Mm.
Yet.
Rebecca 2012 asked a question here. Is it possible that after changing form, it drains mana over time? Yes, I find that it's likely.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
almost guaranteed. Unless there's
Oh,
some other
definitely.
new cool system that we don't know about, that's the most likely one. To
Yeah.
invoke Soul Reaver, the Reaver could force you. Yeah. So if you get forced into like a different state on the trinary arc system, how would you return though if it's not voluntary? For example, you're back into essential form. We'll just use the vampire because it's the easiest one without having to make it technical. Okay, so you get your butt whipped, physical's gone, you get drained, magic's gone. You're now in essential state and you're possessing a chair leg. Like how do you like get your magic back? Or like, does the chair hobble outside and start draining someone's blood? Like what?
Oh my god, that'd be bad. Like you become a physical stake. Like the chair like breaks off and you stab someone in the heart, and then you get some health back or something.
Help from
Like,
a Lich
uh,
teammate would probably make it quicker. No, I will not rely on the damn Lich for any help. It's a spite issue at that point.
It's bizarre to think of gameplay in a contained form, like
Yeah.
possessing an armchair. Sure, we probably won't be doing that, but let's say a weapon. Still, what's the weapon gonna do? It's gonna start floating and hitting
yeah,
people.
that
It could
might
could
be a
be, but
thing.
I'm getting
That
some
mi-
weird
that that's
Evil
a
Dead
thing.
vibes of like,
Yeah, that's a thing
sort
in
of
like
boom, boom,
some
boom.
stuff. Like the weapon flies around and talks and everything. Like a singing sword Excalibur, like possessing its own will.
Bishop
It's
going, I'll remember
Stormbringer.
that, Faceless Mike. You chose your team.
Mhm.
a vampire
Potions.
maybe.
Potions might be a thing.
Yeah,
Potions.
items. We on top of the skill system and the spell system, which is associated somehow, we may also have items that can help us out. But how
Oh,
can you drink
they're
a potion if you are in a ethereal form or inside an object?
and if you get tossed out of physical and out of magical form and you're in essential form, do you lose the physical items you're carrying for that mission?
I think that will be a little bit too much.
No,
That'd be
but I
too
mean just
punishing.
potions and stuff, not weapons and armor, but like
Oh.
potions and whatnot. Definitely in
It might
hardcore
be.
mode, I'd imagine. But
Mhm.
like,
Oh yeah, Dennis seems to have some interesting ideas for hardcore. But if we can change our skill build, our tarot cards on the fly, then I don't think that we would be losing items if dying like this, just for switching from physical to material now. I don't think so.
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
that's back to what Zan said. How do you drink a potion in essential form?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you probably just once you recover your physical form in whatever way you can do that, then I imagine the items just become available to you naturally. Like your body reconstitutes itself in its entirety, the equipment you were having, you were wearing, and the items you were carrying.
There might be strategic like fonts or something if you're an essential that, like health stations or whatever. Only for like spiritual recharging or something, like
Right. When you switch
in
forms, you could see those things, right?
Yeah, something like that. Like you see them, or like there's, a statue of an elder god and you go into its line of sight or its vision or something and it heals you or whatever.
I just thought of the idea. What if, like, let's say you're in a town, you're fighting, you get badly injured, and you're put into essential form. What if you have to possess one of the enemy soldiers, and they're like crippled over in a weakened state for a few minutes, which is what's letting you recharge your essence and magic by
Mm,
draining them. And as long as they don't get killed, you can recharge somehow.
yeah, that'd be neat.
Kind of like
Lich
the
is,
undead version of being downed in a video game, where you're bleeding out, but you can recover.
yeah,
Doing that,
yeah.
only it's your soul possessing the body of a weakened enemy.
That'd be really interesting. Liches, I think that sounds like a pure like lich mechanic also. But for vampires, that might be a thing too. You're in an artifact, and then maybe you're in you're a vampire and you're possessing like a golden cup or something, and then someone picks up that cup and starts drinking from it, and then you possess their body or whatever. And it's a billion ways to take this, billion ways to do things.
Yeah, and on that example, that very good example, Enthrall will probably be very useful, as that's an ability focused on essence. It could be more powerful on the essential, the contained state, that you can bring people to you, hypnotize them, and
Yeah.
make them do your
Yeah.
bidding.
What if that might be another thing? Like when you're in whatever state, you can't use other abilities from other states, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, well, yeah,
So
logically, but then again, this game
logically,
doesn't follow logic, but we'll go with
yeah.
it for now.
So that's a good example. That's probably spot on, Zan. Like your the only state you have available to you right now is essential. So you throw out Enthrall with some last bitch ditch effort, and then you possess somebody, and then bam, there you go. That's how you're recharging, and then they like take you to somewhere, or you just gain power from possessing them or something. I mean, neat.
Yeah. And Bishop said here, I wish I knew what a vampire looked like in each state. Well, if every undead must have a form in each of their states, so the physical state is going to be just his body. The magical state is probably going to be a mist every time, no matter whether you have the mist form card or not. The mist form card will probably augment that form, allowing you to do more stuff. Excuse me. or it will allow you to freely switch between the physical and the ethereal state more easily. And the contained state, hell if I know, haven't seen any hint of that yet.
I'm thinking, what if, to use like Warcraft as an example, like when you're physical, you have the world around you, right? When you're dead, you go into a ghost form and you have to get your body back with all, you have to go back to where
Yeah.
you died to get all your items, right? So what if it's like that for the physical and the magical? And then essential, I want to say it's maybe even, what if it's a bird's eye view, like a god view almost, or maybe even
Like just even a top down.
yeah, like a top down where like how it represents like it visually or something.
Or it could be first person.
Yeah, or it could be first
You're a
person.
little floating orb that can only be
Yeah,
seen by magic wielders. No one else can see it, like
yeah, like
normal
you are
soldiers or players.
literally,
Little green ball floating around or
yeah,
something.
you're like literally just the soul that's left, and you need to find something to get your body back or whatever, something like that.
That's something
Maybe.
they took out of World of Warcraft that I greatly missed. There was a time in WoW that when you died, like you ended up at the graveyard and had to go back and get your body. But at that point, like they done it where you could just respawn. There was something cool about that because you made note of where graveyards were just in case you died and how far it would be to corpse drag.
Yeah,
Especially if you were being constantly chased. I wonder will we have stuff like that?
maybe.
A long
It's
time
interesting.
ago, I asked Dennis, sorry, the Calypso,
No, it's
it's
fine. I was
delay
going to say.
between us. A long time ago, I asked Dennis about classes that played in different perspectives, like in first person or top view, and he said that no, it wasn't really planned for that. But I will like if some classes have different ways of seeing the environment, even if it is in a different perspective. when they are in special states, like you mentioned, being in the ethereal or the contained state at some point.
Who knows?
Bishop says essential makes me want to say something in the world would bring you back, like an artifact or a statue or something. Yeah, I think that's generally like the thought process, because essential, from what we know, is artifacts. It's the artifact thing. The white is a great example because it is literally just a soul inside of a giant constructed artifact, which is, a gross Frankenstein monster.
It is the artifact.
It is the artifact. So I think essential, like who I think Rebecca said will-o-wisp also, like a will-o-wisp. So like, what if your essential state is a floating ball of like a will-o-wisp spirit, and that's all you are, and you need to get back into a statue that recharges you or respawns you or something at like half health and half magic and stuff. Or you need to sacrifice your soul and your essential to recharge your magical, to recharge your physical. It's like it all kind of ties into a circle where you need to sacrifice one thing for another. That's just my speculation, but that's how I would do it anyway if I were programming this thing.
Yeah, that's cool. And one thing that the tarot deck brings forth that people have been asking for a long time ago, people were wondering how we could respec our characters. We even had some discussions on the forum about that. The tarot deck itself already explains it. You respec it just by changing your build, and you can do it all the time. So there's really no challenge in doing that.
I believe I'll quote Dennis on this. He said, "Will you be able to respec on the fly or reset your talent points?" And he said, "Yes, but the system we have, I don't see why you'd want to." Now you know why.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how, like for example, like mist form. Like mist form. So you have mist form, whatever, and you get all these points to put into it, right? So you build it a certain way within that tree. Maybe respecking would be, if I want to respec my mist form, that kind of thing. Because I can, build my character however I want, whenever I want.
I
But
see this
respecking
going.
that version of mist would be, like how do I want a better mist form?
I see this going the route of, I don't want to, like, bad example, but just given a close idea. I don't see there being like respec as in respecking. I see this going the way of Warframe, where you won't be able to reset your talent skills, but you can wipe your card and start again.
I wouldn't mind that either. I wouldn't mind getting a complete blank slate and
so you can just like
over.
reset and start it again, because I wanted to go a different direction in the tree. So if you'd done that, you'd have to really think, do I really want to reset this card? Is it worth it? Or should I just stay the way I'm going because it works pretty well?
Well, it's not too big a sacrifice. The way that Dennis described is cards develop themselves just like you do when leveling up your character normally playing games. When whatever amount of experience you get in a mission, it is equally distributed in the same amount to every card. So if you get 10,000 experience, every card that you have equipped at the end of the mission, or perhaps even the cards that you used at some point, not really sure since you can swap them, are going to get 10,000 experience as well. So it's not like it's too much of a detriment if you decide to wipe it clean and start over.
Yeah, it won't be a detriment, but because you would have to level it from scratch, you can't just reassign points. It'll make you think for a few minutes. You won't just be constantly redoing and checking this, that, or the other. Like, it'll give you pause for thought.
That is something I wondered. Like, the more you use these cards, or the more you use an ability, will you level up that ability or that card? So I guess the answer is yes. And I guess Bishop is Dennis, or he also mentioned that respec would also come down to how the point might be distributed or limited in some way. Yes. So it's respecking is a touchy subject, because it's a build thing. It's it's there's a perfect way to do this and a perfect way to do that. I don't really think there's a perfect way to spec or do anything with this
if you
tarot
have this
hand or
card,
deck.
you have to put these points in
Yeah,
here because
there's
this
no
goes along
perfect
with this other
way.
card. And if you have that card also, you have to have these points because these work together.
Man.
But then with that card, it's like, okay, keep going. Now do all 78. Now do all 7 classes.
Yeah, no, there's not going to be a perfect way to do anything.
By the time you've that done, there'll be a new patch or expansion, and it'll all be out the window.
Oh yeah, it's all just. I think it's all a matter. It comes down once again to just play style, and rather than like upgrades, it's all side grades.
Yeah, definitely. I really, again, I can't overstate how much I really like the idea of this. And if this is the way they're going, just using the skills, imagine what else we've left to see.
Yeah, when is this spell system going to be described? I'm curious about that. Dennis kept hinting at it.
Oh, we've been teased unmercilessly, but yet we know not.
That's going to drive me bonkers. Like this skill tree, this thing right here, this talent tree, this tarot deck hand thing. It's already bonkers. It's already insane. It's already mind-boggling and like super. Just I can't really explain it with how I actually feel about this, guys, because it's just crazy.
And so you're then gonna have to go on to World
Anvil system on top of it. Like oof.
Yeah, and then that means that when the game comes out, you'll have to go on to World Anvil to see what cards you're missing.
Oh yeah,
and try to figure out how to find them.
4,981. Damn it. No.
So common cards might be okay to reset and start leveling again, but Dennis mentioned in the forums that rarer cards could have events or other things that need to be done to unlock the rest of the card, and you may not want to reset that. That's kind of what I was hinting at about, like, the card won't just be skill points. There will be like, do I want to redo this again? Because I'll have to wait until the next Halloween event or, the next summer event, things like that. So it's
yeah.
And to complementing what Bishop said, we don't know if the cards have a limited level. So do you guys have any picture of a talent tree to show?
I'm not too sure. Let's see if I can locate one. You keep talking, I'll see can I grab one.
I believe.
All right.
Keep going, Dan. Keep going.
In any case, the talent trees really branch out considerably. So if as you get further ahead in the branch, it becomes more and more expensive, let's say in talent points, to get that specific talent. It could be that you can only get to the tip of a branch, the very end point, if you were to spend your talents only in that single branch. So you would have to try and reset your card many times over so you could get to see every little talent branch that your card has. So this might be the case.
That would be a giant pain to do a billion times.
Yeah, but at the same time, it will allow for a lot of exploration. Well, I can give you the links. The link for the thread that I made.
I was just literally pulling that up. Here we go. Because I knew Zan had beautifully added all of this earlier. So if you go to the link at the top there, it's deadhausonata.com/forums, you'll be able to find new info released on the skill system by our lovely own Golden Zan here. And basically it's got a link to the video, and it runs down and it shows this was the interface that was being used last night as an example. Oh, I think we lost Calypso. Don't worry. Internet fun and tech issues. Oh, here we go. Welcome back. So,
welcome back.
This was the thing. This is all placeholder. So anyone watching, don't worry about this. This is just placeholder UI. We've got here. So this would be the layout for the vampire. So you've got your deck here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see vitality, magic, magic, vitality, vitality, magic, vitality. Then here, there we go.
Yeah, this is the skill tree for the first spell, Dance Macabre. And we would assume that you get to start spending points in the inner circle, we can see that some of them have solid lines, but the one on the left there, the inner circle, has trailed lines. Not really sure what that implies, if it is the only talent that has been assigned or the only one that has not been. In any case, as you keep branching out, they could be more expensive, and it might be necessary to at some point reset the skills if you want to check each of those tips of the talents.
So like there's been an example of the Mistform one. So we go in this way.
These are beautiful. Like, I know it's just UI stuff, but these skill trees, the way it looks, the way the whole thing is designed, is gorgeous. Even though it's all placeholder stuff, like
No, but
prop.
the idea is there. Like that'll probably
Yeah,
stay that shape.
yeah,
It's just what the skills are for each area. You know how Dennis said about the weather affecting gameplay? Well, what about the celestial bodies? I wonder if they will affect it in any way. Oh, Jack has a lot of
yes.
fun with wanting to go that route.
I do know they're planning to have a full like equinox solar system. Yeah, that's all a thing. Weather, solar systems, moon patterns, all of that is gonna play into effect in the world.
So here we have the one for
Skill tree for
Exsanguinate.
Exsanguinate, yeah. And we can
So
see
I'm
there are some symbols
assuming
here.
this starts here. So
Mhm.
this would be your first talent, and then there's obviously a choice here on something. Then we've got, for anyone listening, it's like a circle, or the majority of a circle. And then on what would be, what do you call that? The 7 o'clock, if that circle was
Yeah,
the clock, about 7
yeah,
o'clock, it branches straight off to a point where there's a T junction with two options again. But then on the right-hand side, which would be 3 o'clock, it's a rather odd swirl shape again. So this would go down into sub-talents, which obviously boost, let's say, because it's like Sanguinate would say, let's say this is drain 25% more blood, 50% more blood, 75% more blood, something like that. And then this obviously then goes off here, which has some kind of choice negated to it also. So like, I don't think you'll be able to get all of these. I think, like,
oh,
for
no
example,
way.
here you have to make a choice here. This side, you have to make either this or this. Over here, then this seems like this goes down where it has to go either one way or the other because there's two arrows pointing here. You get me? So I think the system is rigged so that you can never get a full deck or, you know, max out one particular card.
Yeah,
Like, for example, here, maybe you will only ever get enough points to fill out two of these three circles.
yeah, maybe even less, depending on, you know, if you
Yeah.
mix and match, you know.
And then this one, what one was this one? Dance Macabre? No idea. That's
Dance
pure guesswork.
If Dance Macabre is pure physical, if Dance Macabre is a pure physical thing, I would imagine all the skills attributed to this card, all the talents attributed to this card, would be, you know, you have a dash move that's already been confirmed that you have like a dash, and then you can, you know, dash to more enemies, and rather than just, it starts off like 1, then 2, then 3, then like 5 probably. There might be Dennis also mentioned that like the skills or the one card might be multiple. It'll have multiple things in it. So Dance Macabre might have an ability for the axes, for like the spin to win with Havoc and Malice might be in Dance Macabre. You know, that might also be attributed to like strong like slamming attacks. Or
I just noticed this one has a moon in the corner, so maybe there's stuff we're not seeing here, because if you look closely, there's actually faint detail in the background. Maybe
it'll unlock.
These only trigger at night and they're different during the day.
Yeah, that might be a thing. That is going to be a played-in thing for vampires, is that they are weaker during daylight and stronger at night. So that might even, you know, you can't use these certain abilities during the day, and you can use these abilities during the night, and they're stronger. Mm-hmm. How cool would that be?
This reflects well with his natural inclinations, his natural flaws, and I think it makes sense that some of his cards also have the same flaws. And it could even be, speaking of the weather and solar system simulation, it could even be that you can only unlock some of the talents that even only show up within certain conditions.
Yeah,
exactly. Some things can only happen at night, or, you know, similar
this
to
is
that.
something that Rebecca 2012 pointed out. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wyvern Tamer, Jack has a lot of ideas and fun in general with this world building. I agree.
Yeah.
I miss Jack on the streams.
Yeah, me too.
We got to get him on here one of the day.
Yeah.
He says he'll jump on, so I have to get you and him on now one of the
That'll be
weeks.
cool.
And when we get a day, because Jack said he'd quite happily come on. We just need to make sure we get a day when he's not as busy.
That's nice.
So
good.
We get some fun little tease out of the lore there.
Definitely. Lots of teases, lots of info. I really
just
love
to bring that up. The way this is going to work apparently is like you've got these 3 balls. Their sizes are not indicative of anything because this is placeholder art, but the idea is going to be that like they will move. So now that you're in a physical state, the red ball is here. If you change to a magical state, they'll kind of rotate round and it'll be the blue ball up here and that'll be the larger one. But they will be larger or smaller for each character depending on what way they break up. But for the vampire, they're all the same size. It's just depth perception. That makes these
I believe it's supposed to be animated. It's supposed to be the UI for those of us listening, for those of you listening on Spotify or other audio formats. The UI for each class will be different, or user interface. So the HUD will be different for each class. The vampire right now is using a placeholder version of the Red Lady, which is in the lore.
I was just going to say, right there.
Yeah, the Red Lady, which is like the god that they worship. And it's supposed to be an animated UI. So she has these 3 spherical balls, one each representing the physical, magical, and essential states. And it's supposed to be constantly like rotating and moving around, almost like the rotation of a solar system or something, only within her. And she's supposed to assume different positions and forms when holding one. I do believe when you're in like a main state, like the physical right now, it'll always be this, but the other balls will be rotating. And then when when you're in mist form, it'll assume to her being in mist form. And then when you're in your essential form, it's going to be the essential pose, but everything else will still be animated and rotating and stuff like that. It'll be really neat. And each class is supposed to have a different one. What the other ones are supposed to be for each class, we do not know. We just do know that the vampire right now is using a early version of their god, the Red Lady, as their UI.
And just to clarify, because I said it on the stream last night, but after looking at the comments in Discord last night and this morning, let me reiterate. This is a test build. This is a dev box. This is like a little combat room, where they get to test out the UI. This is from a really old version. This is not the game. Not only is it a dev mode for a combat room just to throw in some bots to show off the skill system, this isn't even anywhere close to the way it's currently working. Because I seen someone asking, it's going, oh no, but if that's the new one, the FPS is terrible. And it's like, this is an old build from the old version. They're not going to show the new stuff on screen yet for a bit. So just to clarify for anyone in that, because I don't want to name names from the Discord, this is, and that's why this was textured, by the way. It was specifically untextured and made blank so people wouldn't confuse this with gameplay.
Yeah.
Because this is an old build. This is from before the new art style was brought in.
Yeah. For anyone listening or watching this later or stumbling across, the official Deadhaus stream from yesterday with the skill trees, and you go back and watch it, it's safe to say anything you see gameplay wise or footage wise or animations, anything like that, art, etc., all of it is placeholder. All of it is just there to be an example, just there to have an example for the devs to look at and stuff like that. Nothing is final. The final version will be when the game is actually released in 3rd or 4th age. That's
there will be like gameplay reveals down the line, but you'll know when there's a gameplay reveal. It won't be someone accidentally showing something in a dev build or something that's leaked online or anything. You will know because the team at Apocalypse has told, like myself and Zan and all, they know a timeline of what way they're working things. And they will be adhering to it. And when they're going, it's like, okay, we're going to show everyone gameplay. You'll all know there's gameplay. You will all see the gameplay. It's like, right, everyone, check out the game. Here it is. There'll be no like, oh, well, I'm going to show you a test build or something. No, here it is. Boom, right in your face. So there's no fear of that. And can I just say, I love the layout of the tarot system.
Oh no, I
I
think
love
it's
this.
great. I think it's great. I do like that. It's actually like a pick your card, any card kind of layout. It's pretty sweet because
I
Death
wonder.
is a card dealer.
Yep. I wonder, will that be another customization option, for the item shop where you can like change that background? Maybe have like other weird, creepy backgrounds that you can
Oh
get. Because
yeah,
I know
maybe.
people pay money for that because it's another
Mhm.
thing that's a nice little customization option that doesn't wreck the game.
I wouldn't mind having like this layout that we see right here, where it's laid out like like poker and everything. I wouldn't mind having that be switchable either. Like rather than it having come from the top going downward, it's from the down going upward instead, or maybe even folded on top of each other,
Oh
or
yeah.
sideways and stuff like that. There's a billion different ways you could like have custom like layouts or UI and stuff. It'd be sweet to see. It'd be really neat to see.
I'm calling it now. When the plague's over and everyone can go back to conventions, I'm waiting for someone dressed as a vampire holding a deck of tarot cards in their hand.
Oh,
First
dude.
Deadhaus cosplay.
You just gave me an
Yeah.
idea. You just gave me an idea.
There's gonna be so much cosplay on Deadhaus.
Oh,
No,
the options
believe
are
it. Oh
almost
yeah.
endless.
It's just with the art that we have now.
I want to see the white now. Now that you've said that, San, I want to see someone cosplay a white.
Oh, that would be hard.
Mhm.
Some
That's why I
people
want
can
to
do
see
it.
it.
It's a whole lot
We
of
might need
that's
a
time
couple
and
of people
effort.
just to get a single white.
Oh, I've seen people like cosplay legit Warframes and spend years working on these crazy ass outfits where they look exactly like the in-game characters. So I've no doubt someone can pull it off.
Spends 10 years building a Warframe cosplay, doesn't even win third place. God, that'd be terrible. Jeez. But with all
Speaking
that
of the
said,
interface, just one more thing here. Speaking of the interface, if you check on that first image on the right there's a tiny statue holding a orb. The image on top of that one, Faceless. Yeah, that one on the right. And it's shining a little bit gold, and there's an icon that looks like a pillar casting some shadow. I have no idea what that is. Do you guys have any thoughts?
that is a good spot. Good eye, Zan.
That looks like I again, this is speculation. I've no idea because I haven't a clue. Legitimately, I'm not told this side of it. If I was to hazard a guess, that's an item.
An item.
That would be whatever, like you pick one currently active item. Like in Blood Omen, you could only have one of the cards on the use button. You could swap them out, but you could only have one active. So that like if one of the controls is the use button, that's the item you'll be using.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Possibly. No idea. As for this ball, no idea.
It
Something
does
charging
have
up, maybe?
it does have buttons underneath it. It's got tab. It looks like
that's all placeholder though.
and
I wouldn't worry about
that. That is true.
Because it's like this side here, right? You've got left mouse button, right mouse button, Q, E, or F.
Yeah.
The buttons seem to be for the first one for opening the inventory, the second one tab for opening the deck.
Yeah, it might be the options. Like
magnifying glass must be the map.
Yeah.
Control must be the options, and the last one doesn't have a button assigned to it. A key assigned to it must be the mail.
Yes.
Oh
that
yeah,
would make sense. Deadhaus mail confirmed. Hey!
Deadhaus mail confirmed.
The mail.
By the way, if you guys hear any bizarre sound coming from my mic, it's just my victims squealing.
I was wondering about that, but I was too polite to say anything. But yeah, so in a nutshell, we'll start wrapping up now, but that's pretty much where we got. I don't want to scroll down and give away other people's comments and all like that. If you want to see that, you need to go check out the thread yourself. And you can find it right here with /forum. You'll be able to find it because Zan goes into great summary detail on this about the interface, about the whole thing. It's basically, if you didn't catch the stream and don't have time to sit and watch the stream, it's the Cliff Notes.
Yeah. Great. Like Zan, I know I've said this a million times already, but top tier forum poster, like literally golden status with just how in depth and insane your forum posts are. They're great. Like they're really great.
Now, when we get the final artwork for that, I want that as a mouse map, as a desktop.
Oh man, that'd be great too. That'd be awesome too.
Of your favorite build?
Yeah. Yeah, pick that'd be cool. Custom mouse mat of
Mhm.
your hand, of whatever your
I'm
your favorite
looking
hand
at
is.
I'm looking at my one on the table now because I have an Oscar Ox one and I've got the Red Lady. So what you see behind me is actually what's on my desk as well. And I was like, it could be a tarot deck. That's phenomenal, though. I think
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of cool options for both real world items and in-game stuff for this.
Most definitely. And like props to Deadhouse for, even though all this stuff being like placeholder, they still go all out. You know what I mean? Like it's still really good looking for placeholder stuff.
Call me weird. I'd be happy with that placeholder stuff.
Oh
Like
no,
there,
me
what is
too.
it?
Like
yeah.
it's
Path of what's that? I can't. Path of the Slain, and all like that. I'd be like, yep, I'd be happy with that, man. That looks
that's
cool.
rad. That's super rad. But yeah, I think with all of that said, thanks for listening and watching, guys. I am Calypso once again, Faceless Mike as usual, and thank you, Golden Dan, for joining us on this episode of Deadhouse Whispers again. It was lovely having you as a guest. You can follow everyone like Golden Zan on Twitter at golden_Zan. You can follow Faceless Mike on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at the Faceless Mike. You can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at NecroLibriatas. So,
and always don't forget, check out deadhausesonata.com, or you can follow them on Twitter at Deadhouse Game, and they're on Instagram and pretty much everywhere else. Just Google Deadhouse.
You'll find it. Trust us. You'll find it. So thanks for watching and listening, guys. This has been Deadhouse Whispers. And fight the living, everybody.
Fight the living.
Thank you, everyone. Fight the living.